Welcome to our Smart Hints and Tips webinar. I'm Karen Bonanno, the founder and managing director of EduWebinar, and I will be your host and one of the presenters for this broadcast. For myself, I have a background as a teacher, teacher librarian, head of department, acting deputy principal, regional advisor and education officer. I've had 35 years experience working in the education sector and also with professional associations at the state, national and international level. And this is where I wanted to continue to complement what Jenny was talking about in regard to content curation. This graphic has been around for quite a period of time, and it reflected our initial feelings, and I guess with the internet providing access to a variety of information facilities and this whole interconnected network of millions of computers that basically host the World Wide Web, what we've got there is it does feel like that we're drinking from this fire hydrant. This is where content curation comes in. Content curation is that filtering aspect because it allows you to, particularly in an educational context, to be able to find the appropriate material that you want, to select that, and then to get it into lists to be able to share either with staff or with students. And basically you can then organise that either through topics or through learning areas, and then share that with the staff. So there's, different ways that you're able to use content curation, and basically that's its function. It is to be this filter to make sure that we get the best out of the web in this huge information overload. Now, I'm going to briefly cover 5 popular tools. Now, a reason why I say they're 5 popular tools is when I go out and I look at all the different sites that say these are the content curation tools, these 5 keep popping up all the time. And also, too, they're just a little bit distinctly different from each other to basically make it operational for what you want to do, but there's also, with some of them, they add a little bit of extra value as well. Taking the first one, Diigo, this one's been around for a while, and I only found out in doing the planning for this webinar that Diigo stands for Digest of Internet Information, Groups and Other Stuff. And that's really what it was. When it first started, it was like a social bookmarking tool. You might remember when you used to save your URLs into your browser's favourite or bookmark. But then if you shifted to another computer, you couldn't access it. So Diigo became this in the cloud. And then we have this evolution of Diigo, where it is now moved into a personal learning network environment, but also touches on the content curation as well. Now, what this does, it allows you to not just capture URLs, but you can do pictures and audios, and so it's expanded its services. Then Listly is basically a list. It's made taking lists to a different level where you create a list and then you crowdsource. People can add to your list to your topic that you've actually created, and you have that facility to moderate in that particular list. People also get to vote on the item, so it becomes a dynamic environment. Then Live Binders is another one, and Live Binders is actually more than just content curation because it helps you to organise your educational resources, but it's one that pops up as a popular curation tool. And it is like the old 3-ring binder where you'd put your educational material into the binder and you would organise it in that way. So in this case you can put web pages, PDF files, documents, images, videos, and you just organise it by tabs and subtabs. Then we've got Pinterest. And Pinterest has started to become quite huge, and it really is just a virtual pinboard, and you pin your topics, or you pin your findings, your web material, your visuals, all these sorts of things into the topic that you've set up in your Pinterest environment. Now, I might just say that all of these are free, and they do have a starter account, but with some of them you can actually, for a couple of $100 a year or even less, you can actually go into the educational environment, which means you get more facilities, more features that you can use. And that's when I get down to Scoop It, because Scoop It is this publishing platform like a virtual magazine, and you find content on topics and then you scoop it into your space. You share your own insights about that. You can connect with others. You can integrate it into other social networking media environments, and then you can also source content from others, or others can make suggestions for your topic. Scoop It, I've found, is actually used also by a number of other professionals, not just the teaching profession. So that's the top 5, but then there's more, and this is the thing. This site here will give you 55 if you wanted to take the time to go and find those out. So you can look at things like Evernote and Bag the Web and Pearl Trees and Flipboard and NetVibes and EduClipper and Paperly. You may have even heard of some of these, and you may even be using them yourself. But the thing that I would give you here, and I would encourage you to do this, that if you are or you're thinking about getting into the content curation environment, select one to start with. Then look at how you integrate that with your other social media environments, such as your Twitter account, your Facebook account, even if you want to feed it into other data capture environments, because what you're trying to do here is work smarter at this. If you have too many of these curation tools, what you find is that you don't actually get into them. And often I find when I do a look around to see what's out there, I find that people have set it up, but then they haven't posted for several months. But they've gone in and they've opened an account up, and so it becomes quite dysfunctional. So if you're going to get into this, select one and then start to get into it and make it work, make it sing for what you want to do. Follow people of like-minded people so that you can get extra material that you can harvest into your creation site. Make sure you share that, because the more you share, the more that you get. It's a little bit like it's a give and take environment. That's where the collaboration comes in. So really, when you're thinking about this, don't just go in and open up an account and then do a couple of posts and then leave it be for ever and a day. Or what I find with some people is that they do a professional learning with their staff and they use it to demonstrate the professional learning, but that's the last time they go there until they do another professional learning activity. For me, I basically think, well, if you're going to find out what is working, you go out and you see what survey results have come up. And this is a survey that was done actually with businesses, and it said, what do you people use as a curation platform for your content curation and your content management? And this is where Scoop It comes in. Now, I have to say that I'm a fan of Scoop It, and I have been using Scoop It for quite a period of time. And that's why I think it's important that even if you're not actually using Scoop It, you can still go into Scoop It, and up in the search field you can do something like Australian curriculum, and you'll see the different sites or the different pages that are being developed by people that look for Australian curriculum. The other one, if you just go in for curriculum, you'll find that there are some combination of pages there. What you need to be looking for is these kind of grey and gold. Now the gold means that these Scoop It pages come highly recommended by the people who use them, and that's not the people who create the content, it's the people who visit that Scoop and who use the resources that are there and give it a highly recommended. The grey is basically an environment where there are people who are regularly contributing, and as I said, some people don't contribute all the time. So you can go to Scoop It and do a search, and then you can start to look at what's happening. And then, when in time, you can set up your own, and then you can follow some of these people so you can share the information. Now, this is where I get some bragging rights, because I actually have a gold badge for my Scoop It page. Now, I can't fudge this. This is what happens, is that by me posting on a regular basis, and I pretty well do this daily, I post to this environment and people come in and they use it and they share it, they re-scoop it, they might come in and tweet it or send it out to another space, or they might capture it for themselves. So this is the site that I have, and I don't just cover Australian curriculum, I cover curriculum across a broad spectrum, basically looking at tools, resources, lesson plans, all the sorts of things even that Jenny was talking about, and I bring it into that Scoop It environment. But in this space, you can look at sharing resources. You can look at integrating it with other environments. It's a way of like a one-stop shop. So for me, when I tweet from here, it also feeds into my Digo account. So I'm getting kind of a double whammy by making sure that I'm integrating my social media tools to get that added value. So my Digo account is more for my personal capture of sites that I want to go back to on regular occasions. And what I often do in tweeting is I'll put a hashtag in, which basically helps to categorize in my Digo account. But within this environment, a person who I follow is the bookmarking librarian, and she specifically focuses on the Australian curriculum resources and also does the good element here of tagging, so you can quickly go in and see the links and click on, say, English, and you'll find the 12 web links that she has. And we kind of share, we kind of exchange and re-scoop our material on a regular basis. And sometimes I will take what Sue's got and I will burrow down even further into the site and add that as well. So we do a lot of exchange of information. So Scoop It is quite good, but if you are going to get into it, make sure that you use it. You don't just do it as a one-off, that you really make it work. And so your topics, in Scoop It you can have at least 2 topics, and you can also link it to 2 social networking environments in a free space. And what you can do is basically you are able to then pay a little bit extra and get extra topics if you're wanting to pursue things more specifically in the curriculum. So the way that it's set up is that once you set up your account, you set up your keywords of what you want to scoop into this environment. Now for me, I've probably had to tweak my keywords a couple of times so that what I get in the way of suggestions, and this is an example here of a screenshot of the suggestions that come in as a result of my keyword setup, I exercise the same filtering that I do in any environment, basically good digital citizenship in a way that I look for things. I kind of look at the web address, I look at the person who it's come from, and I go, okay, I look at the topic, I read a little bit about the abstract, but I'm looking for things to add to my Scoop It that are dealing with the currency, the relevancy, the reliability, the authenticity, the authority, and the purpose. One thing I will not do, I will not scoop anything whereby it's asking people to pay money or it's asking people to give their email address. I will only scoop organic material that is freely available for people to use. So be aware that there are some tricky things when you're dealing with this. You still need to exercise your own filters when you're engaging in content curation. Then if I go to the Digo, you can, the only way you can actually search for groups is to have a Digo account. But you can key into like Google or any search tool, and you could put Digo and then the topic, and it will come up with some groups. So you can check that out. Again, I would encourage you to make sure that you kind of check all this out. When was the last time they posted? So here, October 2004, but here, the 9th of January 2013. You want to look at, maybe who the person is, check out their profile, look at the types of items, look at the different active members that are in there. And then you can do that. You can look at the scoop, you can see how they've tagged. It's a pity here that some of the people who are active members don't actually have a proper profile, and I'd encourage you to do that, because it is a way that when you're collaborating in these environments, you often actually want to collaborate with people you know. So I know the person who shared here, but I can't actually find her here in this space as under her profile. So that's an important thing to do, is to make sure that you at least have something better than this greyed out head when you're doing this. But Digo is a way that you can come in these groups and you can find these particular resources as well. And then if you have a Digo account, what you do is you click on join the group and it gets added to your Digo and you can follow that through. Then the last one I want to look at is basically Pinterest, because this is going gangbusters. people are really getting into Pinterest because it is this visual representation. So I'm just giving you some examples here. You filter in Pinterest. So you do a search. So I've done a search here, Australian curriculum, and what it's come up, it's given us all these extra tabs. So it's Australian Curriculum English, Australian Curriculum Year 4, Australian Curriculum Lessons, and then under here are all these boards that people have set up. You can filter it down again and you can say, well, I only want to look at history. Again, this would be Australian Curriculum History Australia, Australian Curriculum History Teaching, and again, you have the boards that are there. Now, if you have a Pinterest account, now you can see that I'm a bit of a novice here. I've only just kind of got into Pinterest, so I've only got 2 boards there, and I'm making it my summer expedition is to become a little bit more active in the Pinterest environment because it is quite dynamic, it is visual, it is easy to share, and it is easy to pin additional information.